Hi, I'm Demi, founder and CEO of You're the Book Press and editor-in-chief of Self Pub magazine. We're here in the studio today with Roxanne Dean for a little bit of a Behind the Writer series. Welcome, Roxy.
Thank you.
Where do you live here in Pennsylvania?
I'm in Glen Rock, which is not too far from you.
Hi.
Although I'm out of town. It's off of 851, and I have a small farm, raise sheep.
You raise sheep. What kinds of sheep?
They are all Scottish sheep, and there is a rhyme and reason for that because of playing in Scottish bands for many years, going to Highland Games and talking to people who had Shetlands there. We got to know them, decided to bring one home one year and got a couple after that, and also kind of branched to Scottish blackface, which you find all over the UK, as an essay that my daughter wrote for the Maryland Sheep and Wool, and we came home with the Scottish blackface ewe without knowing anything about it. But
so all of you who go out to festivals and come home with goldfish or hamsters, you got it off easy.
Right. You don't need a trailer for that. Yes.
How did you get into the Scottish bands?
Actually, my husband's been a bagpiper since I knew him, and he's been in different bands, and then I ended up going to a band practice with my husband and daughter one night, and they asked me if I read music, and I said yes. I played the piano, and they put tenor sticks in my hand and said, "Good, we need you."
What's that like when you practice at home? Is it bagpipe, drums, or do you only play away from home?
Well, no. I mean, we've kind of gotten used to. The good thing is we're out in the country, and you don't have to worry about disturbing anybody. It's like, so my daughter, who was in Lancaster, couldn't really play because the neighbors complained, but we didn't have that issue.
So you have some gorgeous photos here. Tell us about these two beauties.
Okay. Well, over the years, I've kind of been a photographer as a hobby, and now I'm in the York County Camera Club, and I'm on their board of directors, and it's kind of a neat because you learn a lot. You learn about lighting like you have here, and we go on some outings and take pictures and have competitions. And actually, I'm going to use this picture in a competition coming up. It's supposed to be based on a song, so I thought Hungry Eyes. This is actually one of my wethers. People think he's not a ram, he's a wether. But every time he gets animal crackers, I get that tongue going, and you can see almost the drips underneath, because he's just, it's very good behavior modification. So I get a lot of good shots with him with the tongue. And this is one of my Shetland ewes. These are actually both Shetlands. And sometimes if you can catch them at the right moment, and I look at them and I think how I can incorporate them in the story that I'm currently doing, or else I look at the picture and I do a story around the picture.
Do you carry a camera with you basically at all times?
I pretty much do. I take my Australian Shepherd over to Lake Cadorus just about every day, and I don't leave my house without the camera.
That must be a heck of an outing. Some people walk their dogs.
Yes. So I have a leash in one hand, my cell phone, and my camera, and I have the straps, and yes, it's kind of juggling, but I kind of feel like I'm lost if I don't have my camera.
Oh, wow. What's lambing season like at your house?
Well, we have just recently cut back, so now I have only 14 sheep, which some people say, you got to be kidding, only 14? They think that's horrible. But 5 years ago, we had 70 sheep. And I have lots of videos of all the lambs running around like a bunch of hoodlums, and it's hysterical. And we just had lamb overload a couple years in a row. I've actually sold a lot of them. And you can't really keep more than 1 or 2 rams at a time, too.
Oh, why is that?
Well, because they'll butt and they get very jealous. And actually, the dog that we acquired from someone else went in the ram's pen to play with them, thinking that they were just other dogs because he was from the city, and then that's why they thought it would be a good match because he's an Australian Shepherd, her dog. Well, when the rams butted him, he screamed and left, and he has not gone back in the pen since then. He sits outside the gate, which is kind of funny, but he's He's a good dog.
Does he function as a shepherd sometimes?
He does. When they get out of their area, and they have done that, and they've gotten out of their own pens, he has herded them back in. So, I mean, that's fine, but he won't go in there unless they're not around.
He was a quick learner then.
Yes.
Do you have other animals around the house?
I'm sure. I have 2 cats. I have, and the dog, and 12 chickens right now, too. So we have quite a group.
Wow. Did you ever picture this is where your life would go?
No. Actually, I grew up in Philadelphia. I'm actually a retired teacher, and we started out raising dairy goats, and that was only because one of my students, their mom brought in a baby goat one year and said, you just moved up here, you have a lot of grass to cut, get yourself a goat, get your daughter in 4-H. And that was a great thing, 4-H. That was a wonderful experience. I mean, I helped out with them for years, but we went from goats to fiber animals with the Angora goats, and then, like I said, eventually the sheep. So it kind of evolved. And people will say, oh, you must have grown up on a farm. And I said, nope. It was, believe me, it was all a learning experience, and you learn very quickly because you have to.
When did you first think you might want to be a writer?
I actually, when I was probably about 3rd grade, I used to write short stories all the time and hide them in a shoebox. I don't think I ever told you that.
No.
I'd be sitting down and write them, and I still had them in my basement until years ago, and I probably just threw them away.
No.
I should have, but the writing was so horrible. Of course, you didn't type at that time. You didn't have computers, and it was just like so sprawled out, and it was so many papers. You figure you probably could have put that whole stack together and gotten like 1 chapter out of it.
No.
But and then I just decided to start doing that. And when you were working over at the Shrewsbury Library, I thought, well, this is a good time to start getting it together.
And look what's happened since. You have 5 books now?
I have 4, but I'm working on the 5th. The Shill of the Sheep Goes to the York Fair, which I want to have out in time for the York Fair, because over the years and going and showing and bringing in my photographs and my fleeces, and we have so many ribbons around the house, and I thought I have enough material, and I have so many pictures, of course, going through the sheep pen, the goat pens, and all the other animals. I just was going through the other night, and I have a stack of York Fair pictures, and I'm like, oh, I can get so much in there. And then I asked my sister, I said, I need you to draw me the sheep in the Ferris wheel, having a ride on the Ferris wheel, because they want to go have some fun, too, besides seeing all the other stuff.
Well, I think they should also have Bricker's fries.
Yes.
And
I
funnel cake.
I figure I have to change the name of Rudders, like they want a milkshake.
Oh.
So, and there's a lot of like play on words. Like I have the Wolof Spa Company, and instead of FedEx, Wolex and things like that.
Wolex, that's great.
It's all play on words.
Well, I can't read the latest puns. Really excited. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.